on YouTube and TikTok just for you to know, because not some people are not on TikTok, but I'm connecting to this so that you guys can listen. All right. So if you want to go through Facebook and listen, I'm not hijacking your audience from you, Umi.
No, but that's fine.
Some of our people are not on TikTok, so they just go through, Facebook. So that's why I'm broadcasting it. Okay. All right. Let me drop off and try Youngs again so he can join. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, he could take his time because I'm also still a little bit occupied right now.
Oh, so you want it?
So it's all good.
So how long do you want him to come? Say in 10 minutes or so, or?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, I'll let him know then. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So in the chat, yen mods yu nekk fii nii, kindly communicate if you will be active. Pour ma xam. Any you can disagree with some of the things he's going to say. You stay.
Okay, Mbadi I'll be American live on YouTube Online Bantaba again. I'm just streaming German Yanks Darboe interview on Spileback TikTok for the benefit of those of you who are not on TikTok. Proud Lamoy. So, but the interview hasn't started yet. The host is on, but Yanks hasn't joined. I've tried. I shared the link with him. So this is going to be about our conversation because of the time. Because time over in Europe is past 10 o'clock there right now. I'll be like a YouTube and Bantabala. So we are not here for another program. We will be streaming the interview on the platform. As a noise in Kabanang platform on you from all right now. So shall we hopefully
the NPP lah. Ni mo ko gising ni.
Abbas.
Aber guck mal, gleich, ne? Gleich musst du dich selber beschäftigen, weißt du? Gesundheit, für eine Stunde oder so. Ja? Ja. Okay.
Okay, mbaɗigol olɓe lamoy kan youtube online bantaballa sew sedle streaming but ñu lafta chairman Yanks Darboe interview stream la now start direct we'll stream it but young someone doing studio gonna follow Malo what is happening for current problem all of because he called me about 15 minutes ago asking me about the platform link which I sent to him. But obviously, I'm trying to get hold of him now, Masoto. It could be other communication issues and Gambia and Bukalo, but hopefully we should be hear from them. So soon, okay. Ibrahim said, this is on YouTube. You commented, can you please stream it on YouTube? Yeah, it is being streamed on YouTube as well. Ibrahim Sise, definitely demo Sise konangole. Interview man start follow. It now start eba mo ila YouTube le. Oh my God. Oh, definitely. Demo Sise konangole run it. Even YouTube, you got can you the interview hasn't started. Now start eba interview you. Honestly, demo Sise konangole run it. Chairman. If you ngajale join the live new sign.
Yes, okay, come qualify.
Yo, go mbali nga fa invite. I join the yamwe. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Umi. Hello. Umi, if you are hearing me, can you invite Yanks? He's waiting for you to invite him. Yes, Bambas. Okay, he just say hello. You see it?
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll drop off and then leave you guys. Thank you.
All right, Seiko.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. All right, Seiko. Thank you very much. We've sent him a request.
Oh, he's joined.
Okay. So, good evening, Mr. Darboe.
Good evening.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes. I can hear you properly. I don't know whether you can hear me properly.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
So let me just fix this. So back my point. I'll be having a little bit of noise here and there. My child is somehow still up. So excuse me for that. So Mr. Darboe, do you speak Wolof, by the way? Because my Malinka is terrible.
I speak Wolof, but my Wolof is not very, very good, but I can manage. Well, I'll manage between Wolof and English.
That's perfect. You can also communicate in Mandinka as well, because my mom was to be bad. But
Okay.
welcome to Smile by Gambia, Mr. Darboe. My name is Umi, and I'm your host for today. So,
Thank you for having me. Hello.
sorry, I got interrupted a little bit. So, yeah, let's give you 2 minutes to introduce yourself. Your Yaikan was Yankuba Darboe, and then we'll just go straight into business of today.
Okay, so I am Yankuba Darboe. Currently the chairman of Brikama Area Council. That is the local government authority for the region of West Coast. And then born and raised in Kafuta village. And then been to the UK and where I studied and qualified as practice there as a solicitor. And then also enrolled onto the Gambian bar as a lawyer as well. So that's in a nutshell, that's my biography there.
Okay, great. So you are now the chairman of Brikama Area Council. Can we have a short timeline of the achievement that has happened? What is animated? Okay, so can we have like a quote, like a short, just shortly explain what happened in Brikama during your time? What are the development that you've brought to Brikama Area Council people?
Okay, so firstly, before we came to we inherited Brikama Area Council with a huge lot of debt, and it was also running at a deficit. And then that's the first thing that we had to deal with. And then to bring it back to running on a surplus. So we paid back most of the debt, paid the deficit that was running on, and then brought it on the surplus, and then maximized its revenue. The revenue was, before we got there, the revenue was, the annual revenue used to be around 70, 80, 90. $500,000 in what we call Ward Development Fund. That was cash money back to the wards for the wards to utilize in addressing their priority needs or priority development needs of that particular of each of the wards. So that for some of the wards, you would find that they spent it on building market sets for women as part of women empowerment, fencing the women gardens, providing bowl or access to clean water to villages, women gardens, horticultural gardens for women, and then a lot of other youth empowerment in terms of fencing football fields for the youths, providing sanitary or toilet facilities for them in football fields, and also road rehabilitation, solar street lights, electricity expansion in different wards. So these ward development funds have translated into a lot of development projects registered right across the whole region. So different wards utilize it for different priority development needs of their wards. So that had been happening from 2024, 2025 to 2026, and it continues to be that way. We also provided a scholarship package for a lot of students, up to about almost 1,000 students now benefited from the scholarship package from the council. We've also acquired waste management machinery that includes a shovel, bulldozer, 2 dumper trucks, 5 compactor trucks, and then 1 skip beam truck with 10 skips. So this has helped a lot, have changed the service delivery of the council within the last 2-3 years of our tenure there. So those are some of the developments that we've registered since taking over Brikama Area Council in 2023. And that's specifically June 2023.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Darboe. Now, waste management issue is a big deal in the Gambia. People still complain about the waste not being collected. People still complain about these Saret people to go and throw their dust, right? And also the residents of, let's say, Bijilo, for instance. I have a friend of mine here who has never seen waste being collected. Lamode Waterloo, why is it still that people in the Gambia, in as much as they're still paying tax to area council, they are still having issues with waste disposal?
Yeah, waste management is a very big challenge for the local governments, much more with ours. You have to understand that we are dealing with the biggest region, and that is we inherited a council that didn't have any, I would say, any truck that is fit for the purpose of waste collection at the household level. We've now increased that to about 50-60%, but we need a lot more. We need a lot more. We need another maybe 5 compactor trucks or so to be able to provide at least 70 or 80% of coverage within the region, and that would include Bijilo. But I would be surprised if that is the situation, and I think your friend who is experienced in that needs to get in touch with the ward councillor for Bijilo, because he is in charge of the vehicle that is covering Bijilo, and then he is the one that maps the route or assign the route to the truck that they should be plying on a week on, because we are providing bi-weekly, so we cannot provide weekly services at the moment. We're only doing once every 2 weeks. So if they get in touch with the councillor might be able to get the vehicle to their areas and help them as best as they can at the moment. But there's a vehicle that is covered in Bigelow, Bruford Heights, and then Bruford Gardens, Bruford Main Town, Brusubi Phase 1, Brusubi Phase 2, Salaji, and then you got another one that does Sokuta, Sanchaba, Kersering, and all the way down to the Jabang area. So you have another vehicle that starts from Wellingara all the way down to Coastal Road. We have about 5 big trucks that are running within the region at the moment.
Okay, but I think with reporting to the right authorities, there's this problem that they are not actually very accessible to the people. So you're basically going to go there or write an email or whatever, and there's just no response or there is no betterment. I think maybe councils should look into the people that are from those wards, the chairman and all these other people that are actually meant to relate issues to the council. So I think there is a problem of accessibility or them doing their job, basically. So,
no, what I have advised you, that's what you need to tell her to do. She needs to get in touch with the ward councillor, because the ward councillor knows Bigelow better than I, because I don't know Bigelow that much. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Bigelow is a big ward. It covers Bigelow, it covers Kersering, it covers Sanchaba, it covers, I think it's those 3, I think Brusubi Face, one of the Brusubi Faces also falls under Bigelow ward. So it's a big ward. But you have to speak to the councillor, because the councillor himself hails from, I believe, is Kersering or Bigelow. He knows that area very much. If you speak with him, if they don't have the councillor's contact details, they can contact through you to me. I'll provide the number for the councillor, and then you can forward it to her, and she can call the councillor and explain it to councillor where she lives and the experience that she is having. The councillor will see her as they can help. You know what I mean? Because the reason why we put the vehicles under the control or the management of the councillors is because the councillors knows their area better, and they can assign the drivers on the route that they should be taking on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, you see.
Well, she's here. She might come up later to rectify anything that I have said wrong. But yeah, so also still on waste management, because I think that is actually the biggest thing that is happening in West Coast. We've seen the marketplace. Is it Nefofu? Is there now? I get that there are difficulties in getting waste out, or even getting Gambians to say this is plastic, this is food, this is metal, or whatever. That's a big challenge, right? But for Bologna, you have generated enough revenue these past years. For Bologna right now, Masabi, the development should have gone a little bit further than it is right now.
No. We have not generated enough revenue in the last few years that you're talking about. You know the vehicles that we already acquired. Those vehicles are costing us $101 million. Now, if the last year's revenue is about $240 million, you have to understand the running cost of council at the moment. As we speak now, fuel alone costs us $2 million a month. Just think about that. $2 million is a month you are spending on fuel alone to fuel the vehicles to go around and collect waste around the various the households within the region. Now, you're talking about the recurring budget of council stuff. That is the salaries of staff. That's about $7 million. That's $9 million recurring bill. So if you're talking about earning $240 million, you're spending about 9 or 10 million in a month. That's 120 million on your recurrence off. You have another 120 million to spend on, and out of that you have to pay each of the wards. At least 28 million goes to the wards. You're paying 34 million for the vehicles in the next 2-3 years. You understand? The remainder that you have scholarships to pay, up to 16 or 17 million to pay on scholarships. You understand? You also, on top of that, you also have to pay a lot of other things in terms of youth empowerment, like, for example, sports. We get a lot of requests from youth, sports, and everything. Last year, we had to pay about $1 million for NACOMF, for the West Coast region. And there is also medical support that we also do. We takes about almost $5 million. So you would find that literally the money we have is not enough. You see what I mean? If we have to get, let's say, 10 more vehicles, 10 more garbage trucks that we need, we're going to need an extra 60-something million. That's what we're going to be paying towards the vehicles alone in a matter of a year. Revenue alone. So this is the challenge we have. The revenue is not enough. The subvention we are supposed to get from the central government is not coming forth. So that puts much more pressure on the limited resources we have. And you have to understand, we have a welfare budget. We have to support religious events that are happening within our region. You have regional events that are also happening, cultural events that are happening in the region. We have to intervene in a lot of other areas. We also have our capital project. These are road projects. To do let's say, for example, last year we were doing drainage work in Brikama. This year we done about the market pavement, flooring and the Brikama market, and then the Sockaway and other ones. And then now we are in the rainy season. We are now in the preparation of clearing all of the drains that we have. So the money that you have, you think it is enough. It's not enough. We really need more revenue to be able to do a lot more work. If we have more revenue, we would have been able to get more vehicles, and then we would be able to provide waste, that waste collection at household level at around 100% by now. But this is the revenue we have to deal with. And our budget is about, this year we budgeted about 300 million. The question is whether we're going to be able to generate 300 million in revenue. If not, we're going to have a shortfall in our budget. So this is how you have to manage the resources or the revenue that you have.
Okay, so the issue of subvention, what is the why is there a rift between the central government and the local government? Because if I understand a little bit, central government or local government is actually meant to complement central government's work. While this is my belief, at least, that there is actually a rift between the councils and the central government. Why is that? Because we've also seen a video of Adama Barrow in a rally basically saying vote UDP out so that we can come and make Brikama a great place, right? Whilst you were there as a chairman in Brikama Area Council. So what I'll hear between local government and central government.
I don't know. You have to ask Adam about that question because he's the one that has that rift with us. We don't have a rift with him. As far as we are concerned, if it is only us, if it is limited to just us, then you can say we are the ones that are having problem with them. But they are not paying that subvention.
You're gone there, Mr. Darboe, or was it my network?
Hello?
Okay, you're back now.
Hello?
Okay, now you're back. You were gone.
Okay, sorry. I'm just getting some calls through, and that is affecting the if it was specific or limited to just Brikama, you can say Brikama is the one that has issue with the central government. But they're not paying that subvention to any of the countries. So you got the Basse as an MPP-run council, you've got Kuntaur, you've got Janjambure, and then you have Kerewan. All of them are run by MPP. But they are not also getting the subvention money from the central government, which collectively is all of us that are not getting that. So the issue is we've lobbied it. The current chairman of GALGA, that is the local government authority, the local government association of the councils, and that is headed by the chairman of Basse Area Council, Mohamed Sisse, who happens to be an MPP chairperson. He lobbied it and then did all the lobbying he can on behalf of all the councils, but so far it hasn't yielded any dividend. We have not received anything from them. So this is the position that we are in. The best people to address this would have to be central government. The Minister of Local Government was asked, I think, 2025 by parliamentarians during one of his parliamentary appearances, and he said that it is because of the mismatch between central government budgeting and council's budgeting. But that hasn't, I don't think that's a very good excuse, if you ask me. Last year, they said they were going to increase their, it's not what we call subvention, but it's called an equalization fund that we get from them. This year, in fact, it's even worse because this year, they have not paid the car park fees that they're collecting on behalf of councils. We have not received anything from them so far. They have not paid their government rates so far. They have not also paid these equalization funds that they also been paying. And that's only $4 million that they paid last year. And in fact, they paid that all at 9 o'clock on the 31st of December 2025. So there you have it. That is more or less given to us for 2026 rather than 2025. But this is where we are. So it is not necessarily the fault of the councils why these funds are not coming from the central government. It is a question that needs to be asked to the central government or raised to the central government to know why they're not providing these subventions to councils, even though it is stated in the laws of the Local Government Act of this country that they should be providing 25% of council development budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I guess I'll need to wait for a time to ask Adam Barrow why he has issues with local government. Because I am from Banjul. Obviously, Banjul is a lot more smaller than KMC and Brikama Area Council. But I have the belief that Rahim Ali Klo, for instance, is working closer to government than all the other councils. But yeah, linga wax tamit dama la ko nangul because clearly Barrow has an issue with local government and not the other way around. Well, I need to wait for Adam Barrow to see him and ask why he has issues.
Yeah, but even Rohi was also having problems with them. Remember when they took the MacArthur Square from Banjul? Remember that one? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of challenges Banjul is facing. The only thing is Banjul benefited a lot from the road rehabilitation program or the Banjul rehabilitation program done by the government, which was through the I forgot the name of the guy who did mainly the concreting of literally every other roads in Banjul. That has helped Banjul a lot, and it eases or mitigated some of the challenges Banjul was having. And that work was done by the central government. So that happened. That happened some time ago. Hadim is the name. Yes. So that happened, but with the rest of us, the rest of the other councils. Remember, Basse not long ago. Basse is under NPP, and then not long ago, some of their vehicles were impounded by the debtors because they were owing their creditors. They were owing a lot of debt to some of the creditors like Supersonic and other people. Central government didn't intervene there. So I think the right person who can assist both of us on that would have to definitely be the President Barrow and the Minister of Local Government. Why they have not been given or supporting the local government? If you ask me, I think that they should support the local governments a lot, because that's what we've seen in most of the developed nations. In most developed nations, it is not the central government that will come and do the secondary roads in the cities or in towns. That money is given to the local governments. Local governments will construct the roads, or they will build the housing projects for social housing for the people, and central government hold them account. But here, the central government want to hold the money. They want to implement they want to do the policy, implement the policy, and no one holds them account. That's what is happening.
Okay. I agree with you on that, for instance, to an extent. Now, Mr. Darboe, you are somebody that if Gambians talk about you in one sentence, they know a lot, but he's a very honest guy. Now, if an audit should happen, let's say an independent audit happen in the Cambodia Council, and they're supposed to find, let's say, mismanagement of fund, right? How would you deal with that situation as a chairman? How would you address it, basically, if there was a fraudulent activity or mismanagement of fund found under your leadership in the Cambodia Council?
So, the way we run Brikama now, we try to make sure that we prevent that from happening. But if audit were to find such a thing, the first thing we'll do, the problem we have with the local authorities is that we've been deprived of a lot of powers. So we don't have power to discipline, we don't have power to sack, we don't have power to punish. We have to rely on a commission called the Local Government Service Commission for that. But if that were to happen, I think the ideal thing would be first, we've got to make the referral to the commission for the commission to deal with that. Or for us at Brikama Area Council, it would be very difficult for you to find anything of that sort happening now, because we try to be, let me tell you this, I have so many people in that council that are more or less implanted there by the system just to be able to detect that kind of fraud of Mr. Darboe, because I'm the champion, I'm the one, or probably one person who dares to say, don't steal, don't lie on a daily basis. So the whole system wants to prove me wrong on that. And on a daily basis, they're checking whether I am pilfering a dalasi from the coffers, the public coffers at BAC or anything of that sort. And they're doing a whole lot of things to see how best they can catch me or how best they can. But it's going to be very difficult because I have no interest in such. And if anything, I am every day fighting to make sure that I end that kind of thing. So we welcome all sort of auditing to happen at BAC. But I tell you, it'll be very difficult for you to find anything now, because as we speak, or even a couple of weeks ago, you will see, if you ask the ministry, they will say that there were back and forth correspondence between me and the CEO over the oversight of our accounts, because they always want to take that away from us. And we always want to make sure that we have that oversight of our accounts. And the reason why we do that is because of accountability and transparency of everything. And one thing we always also do is, on every one of our council sittings, we have to tell it to all our councillors what we have in our accounts, how we intend to spend it within that month, and how we deal with that. And that is also cross-checked on the succeeding council sittings. So if it happens, we'll have to deal with it in the right way. So if people are found guilty of pilfering public money, I would want them to be prosecuted and locked up, because I think we need to lock people up in this country to deter people from stealing. If you don't lock people up, people will continue to pilfer, and that is what is depriving this country from registering development, if you ask me.
Mr. Darboe, while comment section are requesting a video, is there a possibility of you on your camera?
Yes, my camera is ready. I don't know. I'm depending on you to put to add me on camera.
Okay, let me send you a request. Okay.
Hello? Okay, just give me 1 minute.
You'll be the hubby in the car, and Madam Simis Mabas. You know, I need to be calm them down.
Yes, so.
Okay, great. You'll be very ready. Anyway, thank you for that, Mr. Darboe. So, one about holding people accountable. So, Lady, what is something Lo Hamantene? It's a project that you were so proud of, or let me rephrase that. Something that you promised the Big Camera Area Council people that you have delivered fully, like nothing have just and that is exactly what you did, and you can see the impact of it in Big Camera Area Council.
Well, the first thing we promise our people is that we are going to what we call close the black holes within the BAC to make sure that the revenue doesn't disappear whenever it gets there. And that is something that which we are very proud to say that we have achieved a lot, and that is one of the reasons why we are seeing our revenue increasing to somewhere around $240 million in a year, from 70 or 80 million that they were claiming to be receiving or having before. And that is now translating into a lot of development. That is the money going back to the people, paying these scholarships, and then the vehicles that you now see flying in the different wards, at least providing that 40-50% in terms of waste collection or waste collection at household level. So a bit of service delivery is being provided as a result of that. So that is something that I would say I'm really proud to have achieved within the last 2-3 years of our tenure at BAC. So
and
that is with regards to
that is how the public sees it. Is it while become are they actually
of course,
proud? Yes, Yankuba promise
become
of this. Yilam ñu jox, yilam ñu asi. Their livelihoods are getting better. Roads are more accessible. People have a better life quality. Do you actually believe this is what's going on in Brikama?
But yes, more than 100% in fact, because I'm going to into this position. I think during our campaign period, so large people in different words, what during La Brikama Area Council had on them, they will say, you know how much budget in La Brikama Area Council had, because I'm in Ben project or haven't benefited or cannot pinpoint to any project that was registered within their wards and it is done or funded by BAC. This time around, there is no ward within West Coast that you can go to and they will say, we don't know anything that had happened or had been supported by BAC. I can name some of the projects for you. You go to Sintate ward. The Sintate hospital was fenced from the BAC ward development. You go to Wasadu ward, Kampasa, they're building a massive bigger market complex there. The Wasadu health post was funded by BAC. You go to Bantanjang ward, there's a big market set that we're just about to inaugurate in Bondali. You go to Mayok ward, there's a market set that is done at Bambara. It's done by the Mayok itself, and that is also funded by the BAC Ward Development Fund. You go to Kanilai ward, a lot of old women garden in Kanilai, and then many other neighborhoods there. Buyam wards, Kappa water, access to water in Kappa village was done by the BAC one. You go to the Kusamai ward, you're talking about the market set that is being built at Batabudu Kantora. You come to Bintang. I can name you every one of these wards, what we are doing. Bigelow ward, the one that you just mentioned, they're currently rehabilitating the Bigelow health post or clinic there. They've done the market set in Sanchaba market. They're doing a big one in Kerserim market. That is just Bigelow ward. Burfoot ward, they're just renovating the whole Burfoot market set, which people will say had been like that since 1950s, and all of a sudden it's getting the new transformation. You go to Sukuta market got a transformation from the from Abdu K. Cham. The people of Sukuta are really proud of it because of the development he brought to Sukuta. The same thing everywhere. Sanyang ward, you go to Jambanjeli, Flakunda, big market set, the bread bakery that they done in Jambanjeli. You go to Gunjur Ward, back at Sambia, Market Set. We go to, Carton Ward, Market Set in Sunchuburi. They're now working on that. And then they've done one in, Nyofele. They've done one in Sifo itself. You come to my own ward, Brikama Suba. We've got solar street lighting in Brikama, Suba, on the Brikama New Town Road. Not only that, but they also done the market set at Brikama, Suba. You go to Nyambai Ward, they're doing a new market set in Nyambai Market area. You go to Kembuje Ward, they did the Buffalo football field, the youth football field there. They did the other one at Farado Bojankunda. So we've done development literally everywhere. You go to Kunkujan, Jenabajo, what is done there, all amazing everywhere. And I think on the 8th of this month, we're going around inaugurating some of the projects, and we'll be visiting some of the projects throughout the region. So that is something which will showcase some of the projects that have been registered within these just 3 years. We've been able to get development in every ward of this region. And that is the legacy we have now established within this region, and that is going to be here for a very long period, because what we've done is that every ward, every year, expects to get something from the council. And if they don't get it, they come to the council and make sure they demand for it. That's our legacy.
Great. So, Nakalawati, about council, somebody has actually testified of you actually cutting out everything that has to do with cash. So you have basically turned Brikama Area Council basically digitalize their payments to the council. So the month for instance, I have a property in Brikama. I haven't paid property tax for the last 3 years. So isn't that then you collect the tax? Do you guys write emails, or how does that work? It's just 3 years.
So what happened is,
yeah,
3 years. So basically, you are someone that I should be taking to court by now for not paying taxes. No, but so what we do is we have divided the West Coast into zones, and each of those zones, they have collectors and they have assessment teams. So the assessment teams, what we have done is, the reason why we've been able to maximize our revenue is that we created assessment teams. They go and assess the properties, and they will tell us, or they tell the property owners, this is what your property, this is what you're supposed to be paying in terms of property rates in a year, annually. So this assessors then gives us that data. So we have data now. Before we went in there was no data there. The data was just basically depending on the mercy of the collectors. The collectors collect and they provide the data. So they can decide that they collected only 50 stalls within the coastal road area. And they will tell you that there is only 50 shops within the coastal road area. And if you know that area very well, you know that there is more than 300 stalls there. But if you haven't done the assessment, then you are at the mercy of your collectors. So we changed that. We got a complete new team that went out there and did the assessment. They told us how many properties that we have, how many properties are supposed to be paying what we call a value rate, which is 2,000 per annum, and those that are supposed to be paying lesser than that. And then the shops as well. How many shops are there within a particular zone, or within a particular ward, or within a particular settlement? So all of this helped us in combating and then beating down corruption, because it now makes everything more transparent. So you don't depend on the collector, and the collector cannot suppress our revenue and cannot defraud us. And this helps us a lot. So the digitalization process is ongoing. What will happen is, in the future, I think in a very short near future, maybe around September, October, this might come into effect. You would actually receive a digital addressing or digital address for your property. So this digital address, once it is provided to you, you'll be able to know how much tax you're supposed to be paying on a yearly basis and how much are you owing. You understand? And that would help you. So this is where we are moving to. And then with that address now, you can be able to pay us on Wave. You can also be able to pay us. We are working on building the similar thing on APS platform as well as Yona platform, and then it will make it a lot more easier for people in the diaspora to be able to pay directly to the council using those payment platforms rather than having to send the money to a relative down in the country, and sometimes that relative would also have a greater need for that money and would end up eating the money, and then they would create a whole lot of frictions between the person in the diaspora and the relative on the ground. So we want to mitigate those challenges and create this digital platform for everybody to be able to make that payment on various financial platform or money transfer platforms without having to go through that challenge, you see. So this is something that we are really working on. I think the digital software and everything is ready now. The addressing is all ready. What's going to happen is maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, we will try to communicate to the people, and then there will be a sort of a media campaign to get people to become, or publicity to get people to become aware of it, and then people can start using it to pay their taxes without having to deal with cash that much. But even with that, the collectors will then become what we call enforcers, because you're still going to get people who will not be willing to pay. So the collectors would have to knock on their doors to make sure they pay. And we're also trying to get the alcalos and the CFOs also on board to make sure that everybody is able to do their part to ensure that we are able to mobilize revenue, maximize it, and be able to invest that revenue in development of our region.
Okay. So let me just take my last two questions, and then I'll allow others to come for the benefit of time. Now, here we are the TikTok supporters. We are the loudest, I think, when it comes to Gambian politics. We have these discussions about politics, coalition, Kanmedite. You, for instance, you are somebody that is very blunt. You have an opinion about certain things. Most of us do not agree with it. I can remember I did a live when you wrote about if you don't want a Mandinka leadership, go and do something else or find something. I'm like, why would you say that? You are a leader. I'm the new and some of your people actually fought tooth and nail. They disagreed with everything that I said. Wow, right and left. When I disagree, I don't think as a leader there are certain things you should say. So what was behind that? So what would take leadership resource? I don't want to get them put to or form your own thing. What was behind that?
No, but I explained that. You see, people didn't listen to the context, and they just went with the sound bites, more or less. So what I said is, if someone had said that about the Wolof, I would have come back and said the same thing. So good leadership of Wolof in the Gambia, then you go and form your own party, or maybe go and set up your own country. Because in the Gambia, we don't want anyone to discriminate anybody. You see what I mean? You don't come to try and condemn a whole tribe and say that they don't have or they cannot be leaders in this country. That is unacceptable. Everybody should have a chance to that opportunity as far as I am concerned. And no tribe should be automatically barred or automatically condemned to say that you cannot have a chance or you should never be able to lead in this country. That's what I was saying, literally. But it's because it was sourced. And I said so, and then it became a big problem. You understand? Which it shouldn't have been, because if you understand what I was saying, because I was responding to people who were saying that so said Dumunanjit Dumunaneka president in the country, and that is wrong. As far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't be able to say that to Wolofs, you shouldn't be able to say it to Fullers, you shouldn't be able to say it to Dollars. Every Gambian, as far as the person merits it, should be able to lead the Gambia. That's what I want to encourage. And that's what I want Gambians to believe in. If you have the right qualities and you really want to be the president of the Gambia, you should have a shot. Just because you are of a particular tribe shouldn't automatically disqualify you or bar you from having that opportunity. That's exactly what I was saying. But people want to run with the soundbite of it because I said if you don't want sources to lead, you should go and set up your own party. No, the answer is to a question, and that is to say, if you are a source, you cannot be a president, so you should not even. So basically, what they were saying is literally, this question was mainly to Lawyer Darboe. Is to say that because the Gambians don't want a source of president, Lawyer Darboe should not even think of leading the United Democratic Party. And I said, hold on here. If you have that mindset, if you believe in that, you should go and set up your own party. But you cannot tell any party that nobody should lead that party simply because they are of a particular tribe. If he was Wolof, I would have said the same thing. You know what I mean? Nobody should have that audacity to tell someone you cannot be a president of this country because you're Wolof. That is wrong. You understand? Nobody should say that to someone simply because they are Fuller. No. Nobody should say it to someone because they're Jola. And it is not right for anyone to say it to someone simply because they're Sosa as well. You understand? I think that should be out of the question. Everyone should have an opportunity to stand. And if you're corrupt, then I don't think you should qualify to even think about standing. You understand? Because if you're corrupt, if you come to power, whether you are Sosa or whether you are Wolof or whether you are anything, you're just corrupt and you're just going to be bad for everybody. And that is not good for the country. But if you're not corrupt, if you're not corrupt, you're honest, you have respect for your integrity and dignity, then I think you have every right to stand up and then and be given an opportunity to stand by the Gambian people to lead. I have no issue, no qualms with that. So this is what that's the context that I was speaking or writing about, and people didn't get that, but they went with the sound bites. Unfortunately, that's what happened.
Okay, so good that we spoke about it. I did not ask the question because some of the people are of the opinion that we shouldn't speak about tribe. Tribalism is a very big problem in Gambian politics. Either you want to accept it or not. This is unfortunately the shameful truth. So if things like this happen, it's only fair if people get the opportunity to ask. So let me come to my last question, which is going to be about a coalition. Coalition B, what B, Barina. People have different opinion. Many people believe they should lead. I don't need to ask who you think should lead, but I want if you can give us a little bit of the standpoint of UDP. The Monica UDP Sengum, when it comes to a coalition, what is their idea of a party-led coalition? Because there's nothing, no negotiation, nothing. It's a party-led coalition. So Monica, what does that mean for the UDP when they say they want a party-led coalition?
So basically, party-led coalition is not something new. It's been happening around the world. You know, it's the biggest party leads, and then together with the support of the other parties. And when they get into government, they form a government, a coalition government with the other parties, and they all try to work towards a common objective, that is achieving certain development objectives of the country. And maybe after 5 years, if they want to continue, they continue, or if they want to go on their separate ways, they go on their separate way. That's exactly what we are talking about. What we do not want is a repeat of 2016. And then, you see, when you have a party led, it is actually manageable because the party can actually manage the affairs of the coalition rather than just the individual or the president running off with everything. And we've seen that with what happened in 2016, you see. Because they said, Barrow, we need a coalition. Barrow needs to resign from the UDP and has to be an independent person. And he resigned. And then when he led and then want to go the other way around, it was difficult for the party to prevail on him because now he's an independent person and he can do as he pleases. Who can have control or and oversight checks over him? It's very difficult. But if a party is leading or someone, a party-led coalition and the party has signed a certain pact with other people, if you want to go on AWOL on that, you might have certain problem with your own party executive because some people with good conscience might not be willing to follow you on that path. And you might end up being expelled from the party or some other things might happen. But there are certain things in our democracy which have been, which more or less the lawmakers have done everything to deprive political parties of having certain powers over their elected officials. For example, previously, if you resign from a political party, you might lose your elected office. Now they've changed those things, and that's difficult for parties to control the elected officials once they come into office. We've seen the battle going on. Asia is playing in Senegal at the moment, where the assembly wants to control the president, and the president is like, no, I don't want to be controlled by anybody. But these are all checks and balances that people want because they are too tired of presidents having overwhelming or absolute powers, and that is the problems we have with our constitution or the 1996 constitution. That's why people want the constitution of the CRC, but that is not happening. So now, the reason why, coming back to the question, I digress a little bit, and coming back to the question, why the UDP wants to lead a party-led coalition in contrast to, let's say, I don't know what the other option is, in fact, because the other option, I think they said is a candidate led.
Yeah.
We would say we've been through that before, and we've had our terrible experience. So we want a party led, because the United Democratic Party, as one of the politicians put it this week, it's either one likes it or not, but path to victory cannot be achieved without support of the United Democratic Party base. And to gain that, you got to give them credit, you got to give them that leadership if you want them to support you. If you don't give them the leadership, you brought leadership from somewhere else, you might not be able to count on the support of the majority or the majority of their party base. And you need that, because numbers matters in this game. If you want to win Barrow or the MVP or the incumbent, you need the support of, you need to get the support of the UDP base. And in addition to that, you need to get the other independent voters to be added to that to tip the balance and defeat the incumbent. And you cannot get that if you don't give the chance to the biggest party. So let's say at the moment you choose a candidate from another party whom the UDP support base does not approve of, then the support base would have a choice, either to vote for him or abstain or vote for the incumbent or vote for another option. And that could still leave us at the same situation that we are trying to avoid, which is we could still lose to the incumbent. So to win the election, we definitely need the 230-something thousand voters who voted for UDP in the last election. And I know that number has increased a lot more this time around. And to be able to count on that, we need to give UDP the chance to lead this coalition. That's what we are saying. And that's our position.
Okay, so I think the issue of a UDP number is undoubtable. The UDP have the numbers, and anybody that wants to win Adam Barrow need UDP's numbers. I think the issue here is the leadership. Who is going to lead? How are they going to share the leadership amongst them? Because UDP, well, some people from the UDP here, I've had this conversation about coalition a couple of times. And what I get to hear was UDP wanted the presidency, vice president, I think Speaker of the House, and also Chief Justice. Lady, you're going to take all these 4 positions. Then ministry position, then let them just dissolve their party and come and join the UDP. Don't you think that it's fair for them to say, you know what? No, it's unfair to me as a political party. It does not matter that I am small or not.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but we're a lot more accommodating than that. I think we can accommodate, we can give them the vice presidency position, we can give them speaker to the other one, we can give the chief justice. The chief justice is a non-political portfolio. So that one is, you have to be in the legal field to, or you have to be a Supreme Court judge to get that position. So that one is not part of the cake to be shared. But the rest of it, I think the UDP is mainly more concerned about the presidency, and then we can share the MPs. We can say we are open to a lot of things. The reason what they're trying to accuse or try to say is basically, all of this is to try to dissuade people from coming or forming or joining or having anything to do with the UDP, thinking that we want to have everything. No, but I think, if you ask me, I think UDP is more accommodating than that. They want to accommodate all the parties, because we want this, when we said we are entering into a coalition or a coalition government with everybody. Like, for example, if Lawyer Darboe becomes the president, I am not going to say I need to be the Chief Justice, you understand? Or say Boriture is going to be the Chief Justice. No, all we are interested in is UDP have the leadership now. Which other party comes in second? Let them be the vice president, and some other people be the other portfolios that they want. Let them bring their this thing. What is their options, or what their demands or what their requests are, and then we look at that. But what we are saying is the leadership, because the party, we are bringing more people, it is only fair that they give that opportunity to us, so that we can also be able to galvanize that base. We can be able to mobilize that base to say, hey, we have a coalition, but the leader is still your leader. So if you are interested in getting that leader into power, go and vote for this coalition. And then the other people, the other party supporters are also supposed to be saying the same thing to their people. Although you want your leader to be the leader, for the sake of the nation, and for the sake of rescuing Gambia from these blind people, because the current government, they're blind. They don't know where they're taking us to at the moment. We are going to destination unknown.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying you're going to vote for us. We might not be the leaders of the next government, but we are going to be part of the leadership. We're going to be part of the government. And we might be able to achieve some of the objectives that we have. It is better to achieve one objective that we have in the next 5 years than achieving nothing. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's what we are saying. But we are a lot more accommodating than that. And I think people who are saying UDP want everything, no, because I am privy to a lot of the what's called the mediation teams or the negotiation teams that we have, and the instructions that are given to them. I'm privy to a lot of that, and I know that we are a lot more accommodating than that. We want a coalition. We want a party-led coalition, which would be led by the United Democratic Party, and we want to be able to defeat the MPP. But we want the support of all the other parties. Maybe, we want support of everybody. Anybody who is interested in rescuing the Gambia from these blind people, then they should join us. Because Barrow is blind, his vice president is blind, and everyone else in their government, they're all blind people. They don't know where they're taking the country to. And we are just being led by the blind driver in a blind bus. And we are heading to destination unknown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darboe, for that. Now, I asked this question specifically because we actually, somehow, the community of Tittok went to an extent of reluctantly accepting UDP to be the flag bearer. And days later, somebody came and said, no, hang on. We want the president, we want the vice, we want this, we want... I'm like, just take it. I am out. Command my work in coalition. Because what kind of coalition again is just like kind of top. You're not saying kind of legal, you're asking me to basically follow you. So I think maybe your people need to go back to those places. And
kooku yaakaarkat la kooku nekkul UDP moom yaakaarkat la moom dafa ñëw rek a possibility of a coalition rek kooku bul ko dégul moom yaakaarkat la.
Maybe she got the wrong information.
Maybe she did, but I don't think he was speaking on behalf of the UDP in an official capacity, because as far as I am aware, the party is a lot more accommodating and they are willing to accommodate a lot of the demands as long as it is in line with the constitution. Because we've got, these coalition talks, there are so many demands that sometimes are not realistic, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because we also have to appreciate the fact that there's a constitution, and that constitution clearly stated what the role of a president is supposed to be, the powers the president is supposed to have, and all these things. If you want to curb those powers through a coalition agreement, it can be problematic. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what makes Lawyer Darboe a very good candidate, because he's in his 70s now. He doesn't want to give people false promises, because he knows that somewhere down the line in the next world he's going to be held accountable for it. A younger person like us can think, hold on here, I can say whatever I want to say and then do something else, and tomorrow I can maybe go to Mecca and then perform pilgrimage. But Lawyer Darboe has already performed his pilgrimage. He doesn't want to commit any sin against anybody or any party or any institution or any individual. That's why I think he would be a very good, formidable candidate for a coalition. And he even said that he doesn't want to serve more than one term. And that's what I think any coalition would be interested in having, because they don't want a coalition forever. They don't want that what's it called, perpetual leadership for God knows another 5-10 years or 2 terms, and then we are fighting with another president because he doesn't want to leave power or relinquish power. You see, so this is where we are.
But now, who holds Baba accountable? Let's say we may talk presidency, they have talk another term. What happens? What can we do? Because I'm term limit. It's going to be 2 terms. We have to accept it, right? So,
yeah.
Who's going to hold him accountable? Baba leader.
Baba so definitely. Man ma join you in that campaign to make sure we get rid of Baba there. That's what we will do. Lulu kay amuñ ben lifin fofu si lolu. There's no wahead business in that. So buge turn and do that thing. Lolu motax manela, I don't think he will do that, because nga mom elder. And then elder ko xamne it develop a good reputation and a good legacy. So do you have lolu because of def why wahead non. But the sudefe all of us who came together this time around and get rid of Barrow will all come together and get rid of Baba too. That's the simple fact. Lolu kay will even think twice about it. I give you my word on that. So Baba def lolu, we will all join against everything. Man sa dina dem si Baba manako legi kay yow da yange dem, because legi kay no man suma boba man ma ko hold responsible for that. Don't even worry about that.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Darboe. So I'm going to allow the others to ask their questions. Guys, make your questions short, gather length, one a bit
womu kulete mi alonko ngamera in the future abe sodolale follow from the experience council call coming for all nyandiko e mbalitol create de dale non ni e keje barige sambale so ni data brikama garage o kono jibe ibatar la ngam balitolu minudi garage ton call fon la pour e marele kaje ka chabu balle tay kenu le tay ke shita la ka chinde a city pour mol kanata go no ne em balitol on dole kanen wala dura naita because of the high demand from balitol mim problem odi dale kole a kolenda and at the moment na coming I explain nung umi no nyame na revenue min kana we are trying to prioritize the most important needs in Boletaka. So gradually, Nintata for all the presso eases a little bit, then you can kodo specify it and to do more sandang and then you give it to people at a discount. Because Nigo Molem Ning Kulumbali told thing 120 or 240 liters Mbali Tolo, Neol Gibe Ning will one all. Ikadala for almost $2,000-3,000 or $2,500 is Ninkabona abroad. So that one, Mojama Niko was sang, it's a very expensive one. So Niko cancel Fane was sang because Hania 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 or even almost 500,000 from a mall C. And Neo multiplies a lot of money. Nadul Sodolengadi, most of the time, Ngadi school or lilla, police stations, military barracks and fire stations and schools and then some of the public institutions with this Mbali Fenkolum. Last time the world were given to us by Atondilafang child fund. Child fund is 300 dinalang obedi. But Hanim bin Balitul man Okulanim Balitul Fanan near Londitilo Kono. Nada for 2 years, 3 years ikatinyale ika Fenko kaf problem also. Last time Gambian do be Switzerland and then new innovation on Narateka metal maladeda. And we were working on that, but funding to buy that one is very difficult. But near metal deda. Near metal wafil almene carry near balito deda mimu metal deka kenyuala letaya wafi metal wafil alia. Near Kulu Fanandida Molka Sungale Naita. So all of that is a big challenge. But at the moment we are running a pilot scheme near the Bruce B turntable. Q group lebo kika ito learning project onara. Ika barko leta ya dada. Ibake kan Banjuli, ibake kan KMC, and they also running it at West Coast. Yeah, started turntable le. So, and I think they are thinking of expanding it to Coastal Road. The neighborhood road will come to Brikama. But we are running that pilot scheme with them. Me along ko ito le kam balito lebije. Ikake barko ledida and then barga fly public dustbin. We're trying to see how effective wabakela nyame, and then we start working with them to see mbujanya ninola nyame marsol mumewero. Bari mbalito niya ke blago problemo badaming face fenne ke jeba secure la daming. So nima secure no Nina rasa mo ikaterli balito ni sambay nata. Ibukalo miya samba. So that's the problem. And then jang suto ni ko be mol fanan police lon la puri balito fanan ganda malita fenkol kanda o fanan ka o fanan mo do. So all of those are challenges we are facing. So ni ko balito le be min lon de la silo kange ye work well. For some balito so the molla household the first. Normally, after the first, then there is no need to create a Yasunyanam from Bante as somebody else will come. Otherwise, they will go and get it and they take it to their houses. Ngambalik bal fin and skip bin bal. Nialon de Silokan, Bunda lebale, Kaya return the Nielam balito fire, ya bitisa Sungaunian second him. But more coming Ganina instead of Kayale, I don't be the Canale Fay, Fengonian Fong Cansando. We are dealing with a whole lot of things. I think it will take time. It will be a gradual process. Then the mold will change into, and we have to give also appreciate the fact that West Coast mbalit ko mantra kekan no sign mbalit ko that ranu sign fanan a mantra kekan 100% or 80%. It's only 50%. Nenda da form for the 80% mol kaje motobal kanela suol kone ka collect and mol dalta ka collection of warang ani suol kono nea ke la bino kono no habit that it will come to public spaces all of this will change but mol la famina wala mo we change everything overnight. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. It will take us time, but I think the environment of Fanang, infrastructure be developed Kanyami, the cleanliness be Kanyami, the more people's habits will change, and then Ibajala, this littering Fanang be Bola Olanya.
Baraka.
So, Ma'am Domire Nuinala.
Baraka Bua.
Hello, Bajan. Greeting, Chairman Yanks Darboe.
Greeting.
I'm not going to say one of my favorite chairman, but my favorite chairman. That's what I will call you here. I'm so happy to have a chance to be with you up here.
Yeah, brotherly. The problem is from about the telephone that I use. So I call her the life in Frankalan. Well, I'm not calling her, so I'm writing her. You know.
Yeah, but I have a lot of good guys in UDP though. I have a lot of great guys in UDP. It does not. Some guys they just wanted to play with me, which is part of the job. It's okay, but all right. I think I will need interpreter between me and you because I'm so influenced in Wolof. My Mandinka, I can understand Mandinka, but I cannot speak it back. But hopefully you understand my question in Wolof. All right. So now,
yes, I understand.
Yeah, Bambas.
leader of UDP, and I have high respect for you. So, and I expect it. So anyway, you will bring a new environment that UDP never experienced that environment. Because I'm looking forward to see that. One day, you'll be my leader. Okay, but now, let's get to the question. You and SFR, people compare you two guys in the Gambia because you guys attitudes, okay? And you guys confidentiality when it comes to like your program, don't lie, don't steal. Okay, now, if I see you go to the platform, they ask you about the coalition and you have differences with the people, how they see that coalition, I want you to elaborate on that and see, so I can understand what is your difficulty between the UDP and Serbia to be a coalition. Number two, our question is that you came out and you said Barrow doesn't ready to give the position he's on right now until blood is dropped. If that's the case, then we have to prepare to drop our blood. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those two questions, I want you to go through it and make me understand why you think Barrow is ready to bloodshed in that country. And number two, your differences between SFR or your differences between UDP and Serbia. Elaborate on that. Those are my two main concerns about you. All right, let's go.
Okay. I mean, your questions are very, very tough and challenging. But let's start with the first one. So the first one, why don't we put Yankuba as a leader? You see, that one is very passionate. You know, you might say, let's put Yankuba on there, but the others will say, if you put Yankuba, he's also very controversial, he's temperamental, he's a whole lot of other things. So you, at the moment, I think the best candidate that we have as a party that we can offer to the coalition is that of Lawyer Darboe. He's more experienced. He's been in politics far more than anyone else. We all go to him to get a lot of guidance and advice and everything. And this issue of, I don't know, the situation is very polluted. It's the nature of politics. Even if I come in as the leader, is going to even get more polluted. We are going to have that polarization is going to be there. We're going to have a more back and forth and all that thing. So, but think of it this way: Lawyer Darboe is Yanks Darboe. Yanks Darboe is Lawyer Darboe. You have me there. Everything that you have Lawyer Darboe there.
Like,
everything that.
Yeah, man. Does it sound like Dubai is Sonko is Dubai?
But it sounds like that, but you know the difference is Sonko and Jomai are separate things, but Lawyer Darboe and Yanks Darboe is father and son sort of situation. So that one you're not going to have any big difference there. So what you see Yanks Darboe doing, it's exactly what you're going to have when Lawyer Darboe is there, or even more. Because Yanks Darboe gets his guidance and advice and other things from Lawyer Darboe. So if you really like the way Yanks Darboe is doing it, you have to give Lawyer Darboe an opportunity to run, so you'll be able to really appreciate what he's going to be able to do. And I have that trust and confidence in him, and I know whatever I can do. And remember this. To run a successful political party for 30 good years. He has patience, he has tolerance, he has perseverance, he has resilience, all the things that you can think of. This is one man who has been able to change Gambia from dictatorship to democracy. He literally brought Adama Barrow into the fold. If he hadn't led that party through those real difficult periods, there wouldn't have been a UDP that Adama Barrow would end up leading and ended up going to lead a coalition and then be able to register that change that Gambia desperately needed in 2016. I think sometimes we don't give him credit for that, but he did. He from there, he was able to bring some of the most successful local government leaders in the Gambia here. You talk about Banjul, KMC, Brikama, LRR, many other places. It's through under his tutelage or under his mentorship or his leadership. We've had so many great leaders. I think if he comes, he would be a very good leader for the whole country. And this polarization people think, you see the divisions that we have, they all came about because the leadership that we have, you know, one big problem or one big mistake Barrow made is the mistake that Yahya Jammeh made. And that mistake is you can divide the Gambian people and then be able to register development and success for them. It's not possible. You've got to unite the people.
Chairman, I think the same situation you blaming Barrow and blaming Jammeh, this is exactly what Uncle Usono Darboe did when he came into the 2016 coalition after he came out of the jail. He came out in public and say, after this Ramadan, even though this is a coalition government, he claimed to be a UDP government after this Ramadan. So there,
why not you let him elaborate on what he's answering?
Why don't you allow me to talk to chairman? Why don't you allow me to talk to chairman? Why you try to?
He was answering.
Okay, this is something that I was trying to ask. He's here to talk to us. It's just regular conversation because he's ready to be. He's one of our leaders. So we we only have this chance to talk to him and ask him what we worry about him. So if you don't give us chance to know who's Yanks, then it become a problem.
Yeah. Why
You agree with me,
there's a problem right now? People are calling the time we agreed has run out. So like we're all at your mercy. Time with the
I'll spare you another 30 minutes.
Great.
I'll spare you another 30 minutes. I'm gonna go.
You round up with Mom.
Okay, now I will allow you to continue. I will drop the platform, but I'm asking you, Chairman. Next time we want to see our leader call our former leaders as some type of name, not calling them a dictator or those type of words. And I don't.
By on guy chairman for guy another 30 minutes.
Okay, I can't permit it.
I got another 30 minutes, so it's okay. Yellow, yeah, Domino, yeah, tell after you damn me some. I take a cool belly to ya.
No, don't worry about it. Let nobody interact.
Okay. But it's a great interview, Cody. How do you find it? You know? Yeah.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
It's a good one. Thank you.
Will call me whatever name they want to call me. That is the nature of the profession of politics. You know, politics is all about name calling and all these things. So when you get into politics, you have to expect that. You know what I mean? They call me all sort of names. Sometimes when I look at it, we laugh. When we do this, but this is the job. When there's a problem in the market or there's a waste management there, they say the Yanks Darboe didn't collected our waste. He's such a useless man and all these things, you know. But that's the nature of the job. We have to accept that, you know what I mean. But you mentioned about the issue we are having with SR. I think the problem we have with SR, I mentioned it before. SR said all the parties in a coalition supposed to be equal. That is, he said, we are not going to coronate. We are not in it to crown. And then for us, we believe, and this is our fundamental principle, we believe that as the biggest party coming into the coalition, you cannot come and say we are all equal. We are not. You're bringing 10 people. I'm bringing 250,000 people. We are very different. And then we're going to rely on those numbers to win the election. So we are saying, let's come together, but I have to lead because you need my majority. And you cannot get my majority if you want to impose yourself on them. They will reject that. And this is democracy. If you impose yourself on them because they've seen your party, they didn't go to your party, they've seen Lawyer Darboe's party, they remain with Lawyer Darboe because they have that trust and confidence in him. You make him the leader, the chances of you getting all of them to vote for you are high. If you can bring whatever 10 or 20 you have added to that, gives us more numbers and we have more chance of winning. But if we sort of like dissuade or discourage that 200, that majority that I came with to go and vote for another person, it becomes a bigger addition to your opponents and then a big subtraction from your part. And you're not going to be able to feel that because where else are you going to feel that number from? You cannot get it from the incumbent side. So you need the numbers. This is politics. Numbers matters. And that's why we said the best candidate, the best chance is the candidate that is put up by the majority or the biggest party within the opposition or within the coalition that we're going to have. And UDP certainly is the biggest. Because you look at it from the last, whatever elections you want to go by, we have attracted the biggest or the largest voter turnout you can talk about. If we go by the local government elections, it's the UDP. Parliamentary UDP. Presidential UDP. So, and even today, if we are to call the masses to come and answer to us, I think we will be able to attract more people than any of these other political parties. And then you look at our UDP camp, like I always say, we have a full government that is there at the moment. We are the only party that can go in the government without needing anybody else from outside. You know what I mean? Because we can have 2 or 3 cabinets within our mix. Other people, their executives are not even more than 15 people. So they are smaller parties. They're not big. And then if they are sincere and they're fair to themselves and they really, really want us to rescue this country from these blind people, because Barrow and MPP are really blind. They don't know where they're taking this country to. You ask them about they shared their manifesto. They themselves don't even know what their manifesto is talking about. So those are not people that you want to put in charge of the affairs of this country for another. For goodness sake, we've seen what the outcome of that had been. So they're not the right people for that. So for ESA, for us, it's to bring us together is very simple. We want to lead the coalition, and then we want it to be a party-led. Let ESA come and then join that, and let ESA come with what his demands are going to be. If he's going to serve in the VP position, let him bring that up. If he wants to serve as a justice minister, let him come up with that. And how many other people he wants to serve in the cabinet, in parliament. We can accommodate all of that. Like I told Umi, we are very accommodating. We haven't shared the cake and taken everything to ourselves as of yet. Anybody who says that is only merely trying to denigrate and then dissuade people from having to talk to us. We are open to anything. The only thing we are not open to is to say that leadership, we said that should come to us, because for a good reason, we want to make sure the 230,000 voters that we have to remain with that coalition and not to lose anyone from that numbers.
Good.
I don't know what is the other one that you mentioned. I forgot.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, Umi. Chairman, sorry, but Chairman, because right now, like very well, agreement also whereby the approval came from the 2 CEOs, and obviously, my agreement with them is 1 hour 30 minutes, and we've exceeded that 1 hour 30 minutes. So we don't want to go back to them for next time, and then they tell us that you failed the first agreement. So
why you want to?
No, it's not Yanks. It's not. He is not the one who should decide that, because moms were in your feet. Approve. Okay. So you can approve. Legi you time when you job. Soon exceed the that's difficult for you amatiko. So formula it now.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand. So Chairman, if you can just sort in your answers.
No, but I'll
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I'll try and do that. I'll try and sort it out.
Yeah, because if not, we will not have agreements. If not next time we will not have approvals from them. The 2 CEOs. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
Umi, I have a question.
You cannot jump the line.
Wow.
Mama, I'm gonna drop you and pick Seifu. I think we'll find the family. Even though mail on my gift, thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Darboe, my question to you is to a lot of people, you come off as someone that is very blunt. You say your mind and you speak about your opinion without trying to look around of what people say or think about it, which is something that is very, I would say, new to a lot of leaders we have. Because for a very long time, most people would want to sort of massage the egos of the public they serve before they make certain opinions. I'm just going to draw you a little bit back. You've made a lot of public appearances where you've made your stance clear on a Talib-led leadership for UDP. So my question to you is, it's just out of curiosity, what made Talib a big no for you, even wherein he would potentially be a UDP-led candidate? What made Talib Bensouda a no for you? I'm just curious to understand that.
So my position on Talib, I made it very clear at the time what they were doing. Like I said, he wanted to build a structure within a structure which was going to kill the UDP. And then for me, that is not an option that I want to opt for, and I wouldn't support that. So I think if you want to lead a political party, you have to go through a democratic process. That's what I encourage. So when the leadership issue came, he made promises and he went against his own promises. So he said he was not going to contest against the party leader when the party leader is contesting. Party leader contested and he contested against him. So I don't like leaders who do wah-wah. You know what I mean? That's me. That's my style of thing. And like you said, if you know the mantra I live by, I say, don't steal, don't lie. So I don't lie. I try to tell the truth in as blunt as I can. So for me, I'm not going to massage egos just to have positions, because I think our people are fed up of that now. Because that is what politicians have been doing to us. Barrow is really one good example of that. He said, if you want the position, you tell anything that they like. And once you get there, so people really are fed up with that. We need an alternative. We need somebody who tells us what is in his heart, what is in his mind. He doesn't tell us this today and then does the other thing tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons why even this coalition building is a big problem for us, because people don't have that trust in each other. You know what I mean? So do I have trust in Talib? No, I don't have. Because like I said, he did wahed. He said one thing and he done another thing. I said the same thing. I said I'm not going to stand against Mr. Lawyer Darboe. And I stick to my point on that. I'm not doing it. Understand? But that's what I said. If I said I'm not going to do it. If I said I'm going to do this, but that's how we are supposed to even. I think if you have a child who tells you one thing and then does another thing, you're not going to be happy. Why are we willing to entrust leaders who tells us one thing and does the other thing? I don't understand. But that's the problem of Africa. And I think you've seen in UK, Keir Starmer made promises, he broke his promises, and now the whole party is fed up with him and they said he needs to go. That's how in the West they hold leaders accountable to what they said to the people, and integrity and all of that. This matters in politics and in public office. If we just want to throw all of that away simply because we just, the person is handsome or is this and all that, for me, I don't know. I mean, where does that take us to? Africa, look at how far behind we are to everybody else. Everyone else is progressing except Africa. In China, they kill people if you're corrupt or you tell them all that kind of nonsense. They don't have time for that. And now they're progressing. They're one of the most progressive nations in the country, in the world at the moment. And I think Africa needs to catch up. We need to do a lot more. And leaders who tells us one thing and does the other thing, those are not leaders that are supposed to be leading us, if you ask me. So that's my position on that. I'm sorry if it doesn't align with your views or your opinions on those things, but that's me. That's who I am, and that's how I express my opinion on issues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darboe.
Thank you, Chairman. Great interview. Thank you, Umi, and everybody. I just want to appeal. I know Kiaman is always always generous when it comes to interviews. He was in the part of the struggle, and he was a media person himself, running our platforms here in the diaspora. So I know he enjoys talking to the media. But Chairman, I know you had a hectic day today, just coming out of. I know your schedule. So I just want to appeal, if you can just answer the final question, and then you go, and then we can have the conversation on. There'll always be a second opportunity, because you have another event. So, Umi, I just want to appeal to your audience. We are not trying to, but we schedule it for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And Chairman he had a very tight schedule today, and he will have a very busy week coming this week. They have a lot of activities. We want to remove Barrow, so we are busy, on the ground. So, thank you so much, Umi, if that's okay. Chairman, if you can answer that final question, and then, yeah, thank you. Okay, somebody can ask the final question, and then we can let Chairman go.
I'm not your refugee tonight. If you want to, no worries. Yeah. No, stuff like Lamin B12.
Yeah. It's okay. What we can do is you can take their questions and then I address them one go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so that length and questions, just make your points and then.
Yeah,
Lamin, chill. Can you all just what sentences and then?
Okay. Can I start? Chairman, be control about it, you know. I don't be control West Coast. Yeah, don't be Uru the West Coast, the Guru of the West Coast, Guru of the Kamale. You know, Kabin told Dinding,
It cannot content, okay? Just ask your question and then we.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman. But let me follow up. All I need to go. You mean you alone take Yamul Faisloka, or like a Ikabuni Sama Keri. You can Yamul Bargo Taneka, 5 quarter corner. Purwaka Goda Bay Block, Farmer Lua Soto Lokoto, Purke stop or see fan. Kela. So, what are the questions now? Abaraka.
Lamin Baraka. Sky and then chill.
Barakalan. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, my question will be short and together, and I would like to address the elected point in the room, which is the coalition building process for the 2026 election. I do know UDP is very crucial in forming of the coalition, but from what is done, do we take it that if other parties don't join the UDP to be the party-led candidate for the coalition, UDP is going solo? Is that UDP ready to compromise one way or the other with other parties so that we have a formidable coalition to defeat
So will be for them. But if I get your question, is now UDP is going to go solo with and all these other political parties do not agree? Yes?
Okay, I get that one.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yamalan Dega, wala?
Yes, I don't want to pay.
No, my question actually is, my question actually, I'm sorry, the background noise because I'm on the road. But I mean, something that I'm really particular as a resident of West Coast. Actually, it is if is UDP ready for a compromise with other parties in building up a formidable coalition for 2026 election? Because if I could understand your point, it is either other parties join UDP or UDP is going solo. Now, I do believe UDP is crucial in forming up the coalition, but I also have a strong skeptic if UDP is going to win solo in the 2026 elections.
Okay. So,
Assalamu alaikum. Chairman.
Yes.
Kamaralam. Yo, nitaka question over dami wala mnyentiko. Kamara. Yo, nitaka question over dami wala mnyentiko. Muna ale timo soto le physical plan muli alonko they can go around to new settlements whereby purka silo gibe. Because nge coming out for inu nyame koma ndebe madiana. So ntela settlement over dami dulado corrado de silo block. So my question on the file is also about the physical plan and Mori Arongo, they will go around to check those places because it will give them money.
Okay. So I'll pack a Sky.
Okay.
Question anybody?
I think Okay. So we start with the last one first. So physical planning, I'm the camera. Then physical planning got do go kele, but mainly silo la carole to mara wale to that planning ke at the central level. Yalo decentralization of the mantra if affecting in the country that much. Well, problem everything is run from Banjul, and it's a big problem because you have these people in Banjul. They have their they have their regional teams, but they are not many. And then Nico William Mara about the physical planning and all this cadastral planning, without the councils. I think they need to decentralize it. It's either each council, because neither Senegal, that is what is happening in Senegal. We did a study tour of the Senegalese municipalities, Mbour, chairs and Rufisk and Dakar. That is what they have. They decentralize most of these things. So the planning at the local level is done by the local authorities. In Gambia, everything is centralized. It's still run by the central government. They will bring their people to the council, but they run their own office. Their bosses are in Banjul, and they are responsible for the planning. And then we have the worst town planning in this country. Nila alone how bad our system is. Pretty straight silos from one point A to point B is a nightmare. It's very difficult. And you don't know what the physical planning have been doing for so many years. So really, really is a big challenge. And then we continue to have this problem because Mingera, most of these planning ka kenyami, Kenneth Yulminuka Kennedy will in a planning, and those are not planners. So Kenneth Yulmi will see the demarcation of the world, they are looking at their profit. And they want to maximize the profit that they can get from a particular land. So they squeeze everything everywhere and they forget the roads, the market spaces, and they also forget. So we are having a big challenge. Me Alonko is simply down to the fact that central government is centralizing everything rather than decentralization. And that is something which we need to push. And I believe the next government NADA, which is different from this one, will be able to achieve that one, and hopefully. But in Iedaming for particularly, with their, it's a physical planning command. They can come and help you, can make sure for you to have access. It's okay, Nole. And then, but normally, implementation of it can also be a problem, you know. And many people are having those challenges up to date. But physical planning, we have one within the council. They don't work under us. They work under Banjul. They are there, but they are at our local level. So he still centralizes control at Banjul, and that's a problem. So that is that one. Second one, I think the other guy, Usman, said his understanding is that it's either UDP, either we have a coalition that follows UDP or UDP goes solo. I don't think UDP will go solo. I think we are going to have a coalition, but it will be a coalition of the willing of parties that agree with our philosophy. And that philosophy is the majority party will lead the coalition and the rest of the other parties will join and be part of it. I think that is something which I believe is going to happen because we have a lot of parties that share that philosophy, but we also have some few other parties that are totally against that. So the ones that are against it, I don't think we are going to have a coalition with those ones. Those people might have their own coalition. I don't know how their own coalition is going to work because I'll be curious to know who is going to lead that coalition because they themselves, I bet it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to have a candidate within that coalition, whatever they call it. But there are a few parties, I don't want to name names, but there are a few parties that share a different philosophy to that of the UDP on that. And those ones, at the moment, I don't think we are any closer to getting them to subscribe to what we believe or that philosophy that we have. I think those people are inevitably or certainly going to go on their own. And I don't know how they're going to, what sort of coalition they're going to come up with. But the one that we are calling for and the one that we want to champion is that of a party-led coalition, which is going to be led by the majority party or the majority opposition party, and that is the United Democratic Party. That's the party or the big opposition party, and that is the UDP. That is the coalition we are championing, and that is the coalition that we are calling for, and that's the coalition that we are trying to form or gather or get orders to subscribe to. I think that is going to be, we're certainly going to get somewhere on that. We might not get the other people on board, but we're going to get these other people. But I don't think UDP will be going solo in the next election. Last election, we didn't go solo. We had 2-3 other parties with us, or one other party, GFA was with us. And then another, I think, what's her name again? There was this lady, I forgot her name, but she was with us in the last election.
Yes, Honorable Marisol.
We might get other parties.
Honorable Marisol. Yes, yeah.
Marisol was with us.
She's very upset by the way that
yes,
I
I think this time
send
around.
up Tani coalition. She's very upset about that. And could they again in Natalie and they want
No, I don't know, but we are not. No, but she's blaming us, but we are not the ones that are organizing this coalition talk. That is by a group called Apex and another one called ADD Alliance, and then there's another one. It's not UDP that is coordinating it. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not us. So that is that one. So the last one, I think, is Lamin's one. At the moment, Luanying is under NEA. Yaluna system is a messed up system. So the anti-littering law, it's under the NEA Act. So NEA has its own police. That is the National Environment Agency. They have a police unit, but they're a police here. So they got their own training with the IGP. They are supposed to train some of our police, that is our municipal police, to be able to do these things, to be able to enforce the littering laws that is under their purview, you see. So we've written to them, we're trying to partner with them to be able to do that. But therefore, for the longest period, BAC in Tolubalantaka anti-littering law enforced in BACs because as a council, man capacity should have waste collect at the household level, model tembulu, all lot of problems we were facing. So it means a collection of you have a whole lot of problems. So for example, man binol deda mole public places or the alba file general. So I minko mole ko alkana themva slogan. But we don't give them any options. It's a nightmare. It's going to be very difficult. It means we are overburdening the people with the legal requirement. And that is not a good law, because the law should not place a burden on the people that they cannot carry. So Ningo Moleko, you cannot litter. We need to be able to provide them a specific area where Ning Femo Bebuli Safai no dam. Waran Robis Bebulu, Waran Fem Bebuli Yandam File Safai. But at the moment, capacity-wise, we need at least a couple more years at the revenue trend Mimbembulu to be able to follow. Motoba follow Minnesota, Bejo, because next year we are supposed to finish payment of that. Back. If I sign, instead of paying 33 million towards Motoba Lajo, we are going to be having 33 million to spend. Out of that 33 million, we can spend 10 million to buy beans, and then so beans so London Silon Mumega. Once we have that, we can then be able to tell people, now you have options. Now you have choices. If you litter, we punish you. But if we're not able to do that at the moment because financially we are struggling, we don't have the capacity, then we are going to be people with laws, they are very cumbersome for them. So at the moment, we are not very keen on implementing anti-littering that much. There are certain areas we are trying to encourage people, because coming up on Bruce B turntable area, Q group Yamakwele Binol Fenaworo, so Binol so we encourage people not to litter on the road, but to use those specific points, Kataka litter on those bins, to use those bins. If we have that in every public space that we have, then we will be willing to bring in bylaws and other things and say to people, you cannot litter and enforce properly. But at the moment, I think we need a couple more years to be able to bring those ones. But at the moment, we are dealing with priorities. And that priority coming out of the Morobal Tembulu, Fende Tembuluno, Silfo Gelegele Lefena, no Gelegele Wunka to Panna, Imanda Fasoto, in a far from Doya, but saying we started having a smaller fleet. That fleet needs to be expanded. But the first fleet in Minnesota is costing us 101 million. And we need to pay that in 3 years. After that one, we want to get another one, maybe another 5, and another, maybe a grader and other things. But if I let in, maybe Jola might be a bit lesser and the revenue might boost a little bit. Then once we get some room to maneuver, we will buy the bins and then get those bins everywhere. But at the moment, the bin sold out, we will go back to the deficit will start running on deficit, and that will attract even more charges, and that will deplete our revenue so badly. And we want to manage things more effectively so that we run based on what we can afford. That's where we are at the moment. But all of that will come in, and as we are moving, as we are progressing, infrastructure fund develop la wala nyama yalong ni nyae banko be inyabe banko ka, you might say this one I can later, but now at the fat paved that at the senior a nice ring. Even if no one tells you, you will not want to throw something on that. Because I cannot throw on that. So we want in the future to have more paved pedestrian lanes as well as more motorist lanes and so many other things. We are working towards that, but our revenue at the moment, we have to squeeze things in, and it is very difficult for us. So we are dealing with priorities, and those priorities are drainage, and then dealing with some of the ugly scenes that we tend to see at the Brikama market, especially with the fish market, unhygienic water or wastewater or sewage water issue. How do we deal with those? Those are big challenges that we are dealing with, and they are really, really keeping us on our toes for now. But hopefully, in the long run, all of this will be addressed. But it all comes down to one thing: don't steal, don't lie. If we do that, we'll be able to have the revenue to start registering this development in our region, year in, year out. So Ngamra, I think on that note, I can bid my farewell to Umi and everyone else on the platform. It's been a great pleasure being with you, being in your company for the last 2 hours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darboe. Shout out to Bambas again for making this happen. This is a big deal. It's very rare because this platform, sometime back then, Manaksa guy did not see the platform independent, and today we are all here. You gracing this platform, it means a lot. We have come a long way. So we've come a long way, and I just want to appreciate you for coming, and also appreciating your guys for believing that this is a platform worthy of this invitation, and also you obviously for gracing it. So thank you guys so much. Well, Yanks Darboe some other time. But we'll put in a special request again. I hope you guys will be kind enough at this New York next time if he's coming. So,
Chairman.
Yeah.
Okay, Chairman Abaraka Bake, we really appreciate this. We'll let you go now. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sehu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, like I said, Mungana Sani and Kadu. Okay, let me drop you. So, Mungana obviously Sandis and Kadu give you a suggestion what you think could have been done better, and you know, because it's late, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Jerejef. Thank you so very much. I think all credit goes to you and King. And a request for Chairman Yanks to be at this platform, which obviously it has yielded a very positive conversation with Gambian so Santa Buba. But tamit nilana jigal tamit si time bunga hamantene tambi probably niko bugi amin ko nono, but unfortunately lola gade wa rek lu ne hadu day. So pour ñu mun ko amati fi for another time or another official of the UDP, it will be very important. Agreement bi nga xamantene like yow ya ngewane shout out to Bambas, but shout out to bi nga xamantene ñoom ñoo nekk the authorities, the approving authorities for any UDP official nga xamantene dafa appear on any platform. And Lolu, Sehu Sedeli as the diaspora media chair, mom dafa approve that. Then you go to Sehu Kamara, is the media secretary of the United Democratic Party, obviously dafa approve Lolu. And you have our general Mayo Sonko Gambia. Mom tam never approach because the PA of the chairman. So obviously, ñoom approve lii, so shout out to them. ñoom kay ñoo war a jël credit bi not numbers. Waaye ñu ngi leen a gërëm yéen ñëpp yéen mi nga xamante ne ñëw ngeen fii, this definitely means a lot to all of us and of course to the United Democratic Party. Pour suñ officiel mu ñëw fii nii at this time of the night yéen ñëpp ngeen bàyyi seen soxla ñëw toog fii di ko déglu loolu it really means so much to us and we really appreciate it. Mënuñ leen a wax loolu fu mu am si ñun, so jërë ngeen jëf. Thank you everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bambas. Umi, if I can just come in because I will drop. Like I just want to re-echo Bambas Luwa. I'm not a man, mom. I'm a yama sani hair, like why bahna. I said now I used to have raise questions about these platforms independence. Man, I used to, but along the way I realized that yes, it's you've improved, Umi. You're completely independent now. Okay, so but that is just me throwing shades at you. But on a more serious note, the interview is great, and when Bambas put the request, we all said, I think Bayesong is here. We all said, yeah, Chairman Young should come here because our target is now moving to the elections. UDP. We don't want our officials to be even focusing on our UDP platforms. I think it was 2 weeks ago, Sehu Kamara, the head of the media and communication, was in his platform. So we want to reach out to the non-UDP platforms. I think last week he was supposed to be on Zibari's platform, but due to traveling, he was traveling. That interview was aborted. But moving on, we will be having more interviews of our officials going to non-UDP platforms because if they come to UDP platforms, it's pretty much talking to the UDP family. So we've come in. So we want to reach out to people. Hopefully this interview convince na Young's explained the interview with Amna Salah. He's been asked tough questions. It was not an easy interview and he lived up to expectations. So very challenging questions, all sort of questions were asked. And I think moving on, this is very good for us. So yes, we can have the second time, but remember that we are almost entering the campaign period. We'll be having a lot of events. Young should be in the UK in September to attend our fundraiser. Probably maybe when he's here during that time he's in the UK, probably Munanyo slot another interview. I will talk to him during that time. If he can have give us 1.5 hours. He should be in the UK to attend that with the party leader. So but to other platforms, not only Smileback, if anybody wants to have our officials, put it through. But remember, we are having a very busy schedule now with the campaign looming. So maybe we will not be able to approve all the because even this week there was another platform that wanted to have Chairman Yanks, and we said to that particular platform, no, he'll be appearing on Smileback, so he cannot be on the other platform at the same time. So we give them another time. So, but Leila Bugawara, it was a great interview. Bambas Tami, thank you. You are thanking us, Sehu and myself, but you are the one who is the conduit between us and Umi and King, and I think credit goes to you for facilitating what was a great interview. And obviously, Bayo Sonko, who was my contact person in Gambia, because Yanks is very busy. Sometimes he will return my calls, but sometimes he's very busy. It's difficult to get hold of him. So, Bayo, so we let other people have their take on the interview. Thank you so much, Umi. Thank you.
Thank you, Seiko. Thank you very much. Someone could just pick up. I am soft.
Wow, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Your interview was really interesting. And I was down. I was enjoying the whole conversation. I would say Mariama asked a very interesting question. Yeah. We were also able to learn from the answers that the chairman gave. Part of the people coming from West Coast will also enjoy those answers. We were not able to ask questions based on the fact that UDP members were asking their UDP chairman, so it was kind of not allowing other members who are not within UDP to ask questions. So I think they should allow members who were not UDPMs to ask questions, But anyway, it was really interesting. I just want to add something
about coalition talks. When chairman say that they are only vying for party-led coalition, so I would say many political parties already take their stand, and we already know what they have said before. Most of them are not going to party-led coalition. They rather go for a candidate coalition, and kind of a convention is what they want. So if the chairman say they only wanna go for a party-led coalition, it will make it so complicated, in my opinion. Other political parties will not also want a party-led coalition. So this was the reason why I come up. I just wanted to ask that question, but I just had a great time with the chairman, and then he even had some 30 minutes to give chance to others to ask. So we were not able to be part of that. Why? It was really great conversation. I would say kudos to me. I'm part of people who they never criticize you, even though sometimes you go hard on our political party leader. So why? Thank you, for the interview.
So thank you very much for that. Sani, do you name that?
Assalamu alaikum. Umi, hats off to you. Bravo, and hats off for you. Honestly, lima de wax rek mané nobu nanjo tamit dégg rek ay mujjé last year August bima rombo sa platform bi, oh my god, duma daan ñëmé sax pour taxaw but gis nga yàlla ñu ne ku mu mun te tey alhamdulillah nga ñëw am fi Chairman Yankuba Darboe laaj nañ ko very good questions yoo xam ne la they are questions of the day, questions yi nga xam ne la loolu la Gambian si di laajte di la waxati jërëjëf because you're tamit over the months you've developed, you've changed, you've amended, you have done a lot to be here today. And I'm sure I'm very much greater interviews in the coming days and months. Nonetheless, for wax nit ñi rek ñu jàppa décorum bi because Gambia bi ñun ñëpp ñoo ko bokka su ñëwee ci plateforme si ñu am suñuy nit ñu àndale ko ak yara teggin rek lu bari dina si mun a am in relation to suma brother bi Seku moom si collusion rek moom question si Yankuba am yëpp moom interest si collusion rek lañ di am man suma brother si dangay waaru waaye nonetheless ñi nga xam ne believe nañ ne candidate led moo nekk di accept man ne déedéet it is party led that is been acceptable, and I think we keep going back and forward. Moom information we more receive man receive something completely different, and I believe in our experts. I believe in the people that are going and representing UDP. Let me tell you naxari ci dëkk boobu mooy dafa war pour suñ jiit yi nga xam ne la yaakaar nañ ci ñoom surtout suñ ndawi réew yi duma wax suñ kilifa yu mag yi de suñ ndawi réew yi suñ éej yi dañ war a moytu lu bare jël Gambia bi jiital ko du bàyyi ego bi ak seen pride ak tam bi bugga gis nga li ma gis muy dox léegi moom ma bugg a tiital mu ngi bugg a daw suma yaram lool because ñun soo ko seetlooy lu bari lañ manqué ci dëkk bi ñu bugg a génne président Adama Barrow and then nga bugg a gis koo xam ne ku mel ni duma lu sa pour wax ko Yaya Menteng Sanyang war koo jox position ministre ci Gambia boobu honestly dama bugg a daw waaye xaw ma na loolu dina xew waaye gis naa lu bari yoo xam ne leen ndewu réew mi ñi nga xam ne la ñun ñëpp war nañoo am yaakaar ci ñoom ñu ne dañ jànga ñu ne dañ am ay place ñu ne dañ joru dañ sort of am culture daal ñu ñoo ñëwee ci yéete yi daf dee daw yaram waaye man maa ngi ñaan yàlla si suma litu room bi ma am di wirda pour yàlla li nga xam ne moo gën ci réew moomu yàlla def ko waaye maa ngi wax anybody ko xam ne la fii gis na ne Yankuba Darboe is doing phenomenally well ñu rally gannaaw United Democratic Party because yaakaar naa ne it is the party for the future and it's a party that has the country at heart and te loolu demonstrate nañ ko for 30 number of years. Loolu laa fa bëgg a wax jërëjëf.
Sane, thank you very much. Sonko nuyu nañu.
Well, I mean, Sheikh Bombaz and everyone in the forum, Malvio Condanacho, Katakola Kajago interview in it. Sheikh have tried a lot to see this interview happen. Yeah, but now the other brother, I don't know whether it's Sheikh, you understand. I don't remember a large number of parties do not agree with the party-led coalition. I don't know where did they actually get that information as of now. I mean, because it sounds like he has extended the coalition where many political parties are in. The number of parties who agree with the party-led coalition are actually more than the parties which actually do not believe in the party-led coalition. So what I can tell him for free is, inshallah, parties will come together. Parties will build a democratic party. Parties Malayalam, they are big parties. Parties Malayalam, they have supports. Parties Malayalam, they've seen Gambia at the state Malayalam, we have those political parties will actually join us. But people who actually feel like, they build their party to be president, nobody can force those people to join anyone, because their intention from the beginning to set up a party is to be president. So that is what they believe in, and that is what they want to stick on. And then we actually respect whatever view they have. But I can tell you for free, inshallah, parties who believe this code, Gambia and they only believe this code. It can only be with numbers, because at the end of it, numbers is what is more important here. In terms of building a coalition, you must believe in numbers. In terms of even presidency also, you must have the numbers for you to win, for you to be a president. So basically, I believe none of parties, at the end, they will all see the truth. Inshallah, they will all see the country, and then I promise, inshallah, they will all join the Democratic Party, and we will have a strong coalition. And that coalition is going to uproot President Barrow and his cabal from the system. So that is something that I want everybody to understand. We as the Democratic Party, we are knocking every door, every single door we've seen, and we believe it door. This door, if you knock it inside, there are people there who have votes. We will knock that door and make sure we convince the people inside that house to make sure they voted for UDP. It's not about UDP, and this is what people need to understand. This is about the Gambia. It's just that we are looking. It's just that we've worked hard. From 2021, we've been working so hard. We spend our money, we spend our energy, we spend our resources to make sure, we convince people, we make people to understand how governance is, to make sure we hold the government accountable. So we've done all that, you understand, at this point now. Every Gambian have seen this, yes, this government is incompetent, we have to remove them. Because I think our numbers need to be respected. And all the political parties' numbers are respected. But our large numbers, which is record, must also be recognized by every individual Gambian. Yeah. Thank you.
Sonko, thank you very much for that. Usman Nala.
We say that. Naka yan def.
Yeah,
Look, I'm not a Yanks mom. Ma nekkutoon surveillant di kon man a Yanks yóbbu na ma UDP. It is on anti-corruption. I think that is the most remarkable thing. Yanks is very impressive. Nekk na ko man nawloo because dafa laal benn aspect boo xam ne man liyatama nekk in politics. Te lii suma area la. And one thing people should take away from this interview morning, corruption is not actually very difficult to sort out in Gambia. Because the moment you understand from the bunta ineka, and you are willing to stick by those principles, then I guess that the problem of wastage is already sorted. And as soon as you corruption, you worry then therefore to address corruption, you have to go and grab people, put them in jail, and do it. The most effective form of anti-corruption is prevention. The youngs not understand the problem of collection. Because Bena, amulo data. Nyar, you are at the mercy of your collectors.
So they invested in making sure that team or happening them and those accreditators. They become area council, it's able to gain massive development just for Tabunte. Now imagine if this has been translated to all aspects of governance, the contention they can be passing from passing. I am definitely impressed with Young's deliverance, his maturity, and how he answers those questions. I think there is an impeccable asset for UDP and the entire Gambia at large. The borough question, I think he handles that very well. Because again, Tom, I am very much displeased and surprised for this entire time with government allocation in terms of national budget, they are not paying subventions to the local councils. Because the forward make a concern to all of us. Because local councils is before you get effective from direct subvention, there shouldn't be that development competition between those that are elected to run the council and those that are elected to oversee the national governance within our country. So this is heartbreaking because I thought that they were maybe cherry picking who they will give, but to deliberately not issue out subventions to all these councils. I think that all these councils, they should come together and beat those drums so loudly that Gambians understand it. They get a problem, problem in Google, after those developments. Overall, only this is very impressive, and I hope all political leaders, those that are in position of powers, they will value these platforms and indeed the work on ask questions to answer. So kudos to UDP. I top notch. Wow. So Manlulu the other aspects mom.
Oz is our Oz. Oz is our Oz.
Yeah, what the them got
Oz is our Oz.
Oz mungi UDP. Oz ñëw na UDP fu mu nekk.
I'm not a UDP that I do get a when you're going to put a man in the door. I say, well done. This is really good, and I hope, whoever comes into government, they will be able to replicate these measures. Because again, soon change about them without replicating the Yanks measures, it's just going to be wasteful. Then, nobody's going to say corruption. They're going to leader with and I like what Yang said. Because we don't need them to active corruption or need an investigation or audit report to find out that there is mismanagement under your watch. Whenever a person should go to jail.
Exactly.
And that's how it should be, because corruption is a crime.
Yeah.
So you say in the Westfield, you treat corruption as a crime because of the iron in the law
it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent, isn't it?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Because from it from the state coffers, probably Medicaid or medical equipment. People would have benefit and life would have been protected. So this is why corruption is a crime. Don't just consider as a theft, but it is a crime and it should be treated as a crime. So I am definitely impressed that Yanks has this done and he is actually acting upon it.
Thank you, Oz. Thank you.
Thank you, Omi.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Why you want to inform Gandera about that? Abdullah, you know,
maybe Ablaye nelaw na Ablaye def day join mu nelaw. Xëy na nelaw na. Waaw.
Asalaamaaleykum.
Awa Omar Kay. Mais jigéen naa dégg de na.
Waaw Omar jigéen la.
Bajan, I think Edmond moo fi njëkk de.
Okay. Waaw kon Edmond Kay.
Good evening, everybody. Or good night, I can say. Sorry for my voice. I have a cold. First, I have to thank those who organized this very important conversation with the chairman. I'm also from West Coast, a resident of Tomani Tender Village. These type of conversations are very important, especially in a period of time whereby we are approaching a very important election in our country, 2026 December election, is sorry, we should be having this engagement with our leaders, especially those who, people like Yanks, who is chairman of our region, and many others in the party. I'm not a UDP. I'm a non-partisan Gambian, and there's a point of concern that I wanted to put to the chairman himself, which is I watched one of his videos whereby he said categorically that if you are not a UDP member, you cannot work in the council, which to me is not a good rhetoric, public rhetoric, in a sense. Those who vote for him before he come into the council as a chairman, not all of them are UDP members. We have a lot of, yes, we are majority partisans, but also have
I think his network is acting up.
going to put in place in order to build those. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, your network was acting up. But
hello?
Mariam, okay, Ume is there. I thought Ume was away. You don't Mariam
yeah, we are getting you. Just if you finish your point, you will give us opportunity to probably respond to what you said. Chairman Yanks is not here.
Okay. Yeah, what I was trying to put across is we have a lot of Gambians who are non-partisans, like myself. And hearing such rhetoric from the chairman himself that if you are not a UDP member, you cannot work in the council is discouraging, because not only UDP members voted him to that office. So having him, he's a good leader. I admire him definitely, and I defended him in a lot of conversations that I have with colleagues and also co-workers, and anywhere I find myself discussing politics. But then hearing such a rhetoric from him was definitely discouraging from his side. So I would really wanted him to shed some light on that. So I don't know. This is what I have for now. Thank you.
Yes. So are you going to do it by?
Yeah, I was going to rectify that. I think thank you, Edmond, for joining us and also putting out this point. But probably you misheard what Chairman Yanko Badabo never said, that if you are not UDP, you cannot work in council. He never said that. I think you are referencing to a point of the nominations in the council structure. Is that what you're referencing to? Yeah, when during the nomination.
Not that. I watch a video whereby he categorically put it that if you are not a UDP member, you cannot work in the council. There's a video circulating where he put that point across clearly.
Well, okay, Biosongo works at council. I'll just come in. I haven't seen that video.
He's actually talking about that thing. He's actually talking about the video we actually circulated. But I think he did not understand what exactly Young says. If you come to our council today,
you find APRC there.
You find APRC there. You find NPP there, and all the people who are working in our country today are people who know that they came through interview.
Yeah.
So if actually Young said that, because Young is somebody, whatever he said, he makes sure he stood by it. So if Young said that, if Young ever said that, today some of the people working at the council might not be working there. because we have people who are not UDP, we have people who are, NPP, who are not even in any political party working in the council. So the statement you were saying, Yanks didn't.
Ramo Sabali is NPP. She's there, isn't she? Ramo Sabali.
Yes. Ramo was nominated by us.
And then she cross-coveted.
She's still working at the
She's
council.
still Young did not do it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
In fact, if you listen to Young's interview, he said something. And if you listen to Young's interview, he said something here. Mayor Alongo is very clear because I have again the call. Now the World Development Fund, they give it to everybody. All these political parties in the council, they all get their shares. Equal share. Every political party councillor who is at the council get the same share as other political parties. So if that is something Mayor Alongo is fearing about Youngs or UDP, I can tell you for free, that is never, and that will never be the way UDP is going to rule this country. Because if you come to the Brikama Area Council today, you can see, if you come to our General Council, whenever we're having discussions, all those political parties, they have a view to say there. And sometimes, many of our committees are even headed by them.
Yeah.
If you come to our council, many of the council committees are headed by other political parties. So our council, there is no partisan in our council. In terms of nomination, he said, for example, let's make a look at this. President Barrow, whoever is going to appoint as a minister, for example, if that person is UDP and he had the qualification, and another person is NPP, he had the qualification, another person is GBC, he had the qualification. I mean, and all of these people are having the same qualification. And somebody is going to select somebody who is NPP and he has the same qualification. That was what exactly Yanks was saying. Because if you have people who are in different political parties, but a person working under you and is having the same qualification, come on, use.
Okay, I think Young's drop. Let me just clarify this, Edmond, once more because time is going. First of all, there are APRC councillors in West Coast, okay? APRC elected councillors there. They are NPP. So Yanks doesn't have power when people are voted in to serve in the council there. He doesn't even have the power. So we also have to be very wary and careful of one thing. In this internet age, there's a lot of AI stuff. I haven't come across the particular video that you're talking about, but Yanks was referencing when he was nominating people. Obviously, like Yanko Bayosonko says, this is normal everywhere. When people are elected into government, even in the West here, when they are nominating certain positions, they give it to their own party supporters. These are appointments that happens, and it's not peculiar to UDP. Even in the West here, that happens. Like we have a Labour government here in the UK, and they are nominating their people into key positions. But that doesn't mean that they don't value other people. Okay, this happens all over the world. It's not peculiar to UDP, but obviously, elected representatives in council is all people are there. All people are there. So that's a misinformation. Probably that's an AI video. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying probably because I haven't come across it. But Youngs is not going to be that irresponsible to say when you're not UDP, you cannot work in council. The rest are sort of that. He cannot say that. That might be an AI stuff. And this is right now we're in this phase of where there's a lot of dirty politics around. People can tamper with people's things and just share just to discredit that person. So also sometimes you have to be very mindful of some of the things that you see on online. Thank you, Edmond.
You're welcome. I know what an AI video is. I did computer science, I did mathematics. I know what an AI video is. So that was a real video. So probably maybe I did not get the real code or the perspective from which he was speaking. Then that was the point shown to me in the video.
Okay.
Yes. So that could have been the case. But then him saying it, he said it, and I wanted to get it clearly from him. Yanks is from my area. We are from the same area. He's from Kafuta, I'm from Tumantenda.
Okay.
You understand? So he's like an elder brother to me.
Okay, let Bambas come in because maybe he came across the video and I did not. Sam, hold on, please.
Yeah, so actually, I mean, for the video that the brother is talking about was when Yanks was actually talking about the nominated councillors. It was not about people that are working at the council, because there are some things you just need to understand how these councils work. Because you have elected councillors there, and you have nominated councillors. So how can the Yanks stop an elected councillor that APRC voted for? How can Yanks stop an elected councillor that NPP voted for? How can Yanks stop a GDC councillor that GDC voted for? That is practically impossible, right? Now
I'm not in particular referring to the councillors going to work in the council.
You said
it was a general statement from the chairman.
Yeah,
the chairman. Probably, let's say the caretaker.
You did not say Young said nominated councillors. And see who was trying to rectify you there, but you said no, he said it. But what you said is Young said nobody will work at that council that if you are not UDP. That's what you explicitly said here, right?
Let's say a cleaner for the job, and the person is not a UDP partisan member, UDP member.
So now I'm coming step by step. I started with the councillors, okay?
Okay.
Now, when you go to the staffs, the staffs, the CEOs and then the finance directors, these high officials at the council, Yanks don't even have power to employ those people in the first place.
Exactly.
In fact, let me just be explicit. Yanks does not have any power to appoint anybody in that council. He has only nominating powers, but even that nomination goes to approvals, right? He will just nominate. Now, these people are either appointed by the contract committee. There is a committee that actually award people contracts. Like even if you are appointed, your that appointment contract, a committee will issue that to you, not Yanks as the chairman. So Yanks did not have all these powers, in fact. So what Yanks was talking about was the nomination. Now, he was challenged, or he was criticized that he was nominating UDP members. And then he said, if a UDP member is qualified for the position, why will I not pick that UDP member? Just simply people will say, oh, Yanks is picking or is nominating UDP members. That's why he's not going to nominate that member. He said he's not going to do that. If that person is actually qualified, he will definitely go for that. And that is obvious because if you look at it, Yanks came with an agenda in that council, right? And who knows that agenda more than UDP members? So if a UDP member is not qualified for the job, obviously he will not take that person. But if that UDP member is qualified for that job, obviously Yanks will see him or fit him to actually nominate that person because that person knows Yanks' agenda more than any other person because they are into the same party and they believe in the same policies and programs. So they will be able to work together more than people who did not subscribe to Yanks' policies and programs. So this was what Yanks was talking about. But if somebody said, like he said here in his interview, when you say something, people run away with just one thing that they just hear from that entire conversation. So thank you.
Yellow Bombers, what I want to add to this, I asked Edmond one thing. I said, was this video referencing to when chairman was speaking about when he nominated people in the council and there was questions why he nominated all the UDP members? And he categorically said, no, that has nothing to do with the election. So for me, when I want us to have an honest conversation, because the only time chairman spoke about this was in the context of nomination of councillors. And that is why I said to him, are you talking about? He said, no. If you are unsure, probably you can just say, I'm not sure whether it is that context, but I have heard this. But when you say categorically no, so we are emphatically saying no, it has no relation to that. And that was the only time Yankuba spoke on this selection of UDP since this topic started. So let's be very careful when we come online. Let's be very categorical so that we get the facts, because that was the only time he spoke. And like Yanks, he said, chairman doesn't have the powers to appoint those cleaners or CEO and other things. That's beyond him. And those councillors, they're elected. He has powers to nominate, just like Barrow has power to nominate National Assembly members. You know, MPs are elected, but the Constitution also gives powers to President Barrow to appoint 5 nominees, which he has the prerogative to do. So chairman also have got prerogative to appoint, and it is normal. If you are part of GDC, if a GDC chairman comes to that, you're telling me he is going to ignore qualified GDC members and go and take some qualified people from Sobea. Which politician does that? Nobody. Let's be honest here. Thank you.
No, sorry. What I was like putting.
So
yes.
Let me help you with the video. I have the video.
Let's not do the back and forth. You know what happened. So it's now left for you to go and do your proper research about that video. I'm because it's late now.
Wait, please. One more watch.
Okay, say now, if I now let you make a platform, my assalamualaikum. Man suma mungkin ma opportunity pour man la suma language bi pour ni ma bisana fi ñum tam ñu mëna digalu ma wax
lakal pul wori
daga na let permission.
Okay, man la sise UDP disabled wing mobilizer. maa ngi leen a nuyu ku nekk sa tur ak sa santa ak seen teewaay bi gërëm naa leen ni ngeen ma joxe plateforme pour voice out li nekk si politique Gambie ak li xew si biir Gambie fii nuyu naa leen ñi ñëpp once again kontaan naa torop ni ñu dalalee si sa plateforme bi ak yow slim leeralee mbir mi ñun kontaan nañ ci torop wax dëgg fa neex yàlla waaye maa ngi ñaan Gambian si ne lépp lu ñoo ñaan si suñ borom bi na fekk mu doon ci ñun dëgga 2016 mistake bu ñu defoon yenn bu mu duplicate yenn ñu président yenn ñu yàlla def ci ni kum ñu mun ci jox rek baax na loolu foog naa ñaan boobu daal jigut Gambian si spécially man fi ma waxee da ngeen ma balal man si wàllum